Welcome to FuturePrint Industrial Print at Motor World in Munich. Really happy to have with me Beate van Loo Born from Physik Instrumente. Welcome, Beate.
Thank you for having me.
Beate has just delivered a really inspiring keynote speech at the beginning of FuturePrint Industrial Print. Beate, would you give us a little bit of an understanding of the themes or some of the core themes of your talk?
Yes, of course. My talk was mostly about friction and that we generally demonize friction. We want to eliminate friction, but friction is not necessarily the enemy here. Without friction, there's no traction, there's no forward motion. And that applies to technology just as well as it does to leadership. So my point is essentially, how do we use the new technology without making it into a disruptor, right? And that relates very much to leadership as well. How do we lead companies through areas or times of technological disruption?
Yeah, and so obviously we're key to this is the fact you opened the whole event, and we often think with technology first and then culture and strategy second. So I think kind of what you're saying is we need to step back and truly think about the whole picture of the business. Yes. And the world we live in, to see how that technology fits and complements. Is
Yes.
that kind of right?
Yes, exactly. I think we think if we have got the best tech, we automatically have the silver bullet, right? But it's not really about the best tech. Tech is very rarely the limiting factor. It's the organization and it's the people in the organization, and the people in the organization are led by managers, are led by leaders, right? So that is really the most important factor, the people, the culture, and how do we deal with the VUCA and BANI world, so the volatile world that we live in.
I think one of the things that strikes me is the world we live in seems so fast moving, and technology makes it quicker. So what you're actually saying, in a way, is we need to think slowly as well as quickly in order to make the right fast decisions. Is that fair?
And what it comes down to eventually is that we don't change the way we act. We still base everything on our leadership fundamentals that we already know, on transparency, on calm, on steadiness, on communication. All of that is still very important, especially when everything around us is changing so quickly and moving so fast. So as long as you get the people in the organization to focus on what they're best at, and you keep all the noise away from them, then you can utilize that technology, that new technology, without it being disruptive.
And what's also interesting about the speed of technology is that the world we live in as well seems that leadership has to be dynamic, fast, decisive, quick. It almost actually is the opposite of that by the sounds of it, that actually people need confidence, safety, security in order to make the best decisions and also be creative and have the right ideas.
Exactly,
right?
Exactly. So I think people get swept up in the fast movement around us, in the volatility, and they think being adaptive and being agile and flexible means changing things all the time, but it really just means to have a good look at what's happening on the outside and how you want to react to it on the inside. So when people in the organization are completely overwhelmed, they stop thinking about everything else that is happening, every problem, every friction, every problem. But what they're not focusing on is what they're really good at. So especially within innovative companies where you are dependent on people being creative and people being good at research and development, if they're busy with something else, if they don't feel psychologically safe, if they feel like the industries are collapsing, they're going to lose their jobs, their managers don't know where they're going, they're not going to give you the innovations. They're not going to give you the tech. The creative people you have to protect. You have to ring fence them and make them feel safe so they can do their best work. And it's not just the creatives, really. Obviously, it's everybody. So in these emergency situations, which it feels like we're in constantly, the leader needs to go and create that steady calmness for everybody to just operate in, to be safe. Yeah.
Fantastic. Oh, that's a brilliant thing. So friction is not necessarily a bad thing, but it can go too far one way.
Exactly.
It's about almost biology and creating a safe environment for the right ideas and the best choice of technology.
So-
Thank you for joining.
That's it, right? I mean, without friction, you've got no traction. Without traction, you've got no forward motion. If you've got too much friction, you create too much heat. And I like to compare it to a person that is sick, right? So you've got a human that's caught a virus. Inside, it's all hands on deck. Everything tries to fight this virus. What happens is you have a fever, right? So friction turns into heat, and organizations are no different. When all these external influences come onto the organization, then things start to happen in misalignment, and everybody's moving and trying to fix things, but they're all working in different directions. Leaders are making or creating decision whiplash, where one day they're deciding one thing, they're focusing on growth, the next day they're focusing on productivity and cost cutting, and people don't really know anymore which way is up and down. And that then creates that overload within the organization, which is essentially an illness, right? And then if a person is having a fever for too long, if it's sick for too long, it gets very, very tired. And then the organization also gets very tired and stagnates. And that's where you then have the burnout, where you have people checking out, you've got the quiet quitting, and you just lose productivity, you lose clients, and you lose essentially efficiency and innovation in the end.
Thanks for joining us, Beate. It's a really inspiring talk. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.